All right, we are live, so I will click that little button and get the chat up. Because today we are playing Pokemon Sword. Because that's the one I have that I got. And the screen looks a little bit different, although we do have kind of a similar thing going on. Who is this? What's this guy's name? I think I'm gonna go. I think we're gonna go. Wallace. Isn't this the sure, whatever. Wallace. That's a good name. That's a good name for this one. But this is Pokemon Sword. The first mainline game that came out on the Switch, right? Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee were kind of a redo. And this one, well, it looks even better. It doesn't look significantly better, but it does look better than Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, I would say. So that's good. We also have a similar... Well, we don't get the Professor first, which is the first time that's ever happened. Instead, we get this kind of goofy looking... we get this kind of like public thing. Although, if you noticed, we were actually on like a computer screen earlier, which is pretty interesting. Yeah. And we get this funky guy who's kind of maybe pretending to be the professor, although he's not really in that vein. Yep. And then he introduces himself. It's kind of funny if you think about it, like, oh yeah, this makes a lot more sense that this is like an introduction to an event or something, like a public event, and not the sort of, it's the standard dialogue that they've always used. But it's the context is completely different, which is pretty interesting. We also get the reveal of the champion like right at the beginning, which is another thing that they haven't really done a lot. Usually they kind of hold the champion off until like the middle of the game, but we also get the gimmick reveal really early compared to the other ones, right? A lot of the other games, at least the ones that have kind of the gimmicky, like, oh, Z moves or Mega Evolutions and stuff like that, they kind of do their gimmick later in the game. Like, I didn't get to some of them, you know, and I was playing the first hour or two of the game, right? Hour or so. Here they kind of reveal it really early. They don't really have you use it, but they kind of show it off. We also get you. I think canonically the kid's name is like Igor or something, which I really don't like. He doesn't look like an Igor. Oh, right. They kind of because the Galar region is supposed to be kind of Britain, they kind of, the English translation kind of speaks in accents. Like, they use slang that is British slang in the American English translation, which is a little curious, but not, I mean, you can still understand, like, it's still the English translation. Ooh, can we, they also kind of, that's interesting. You know, and when they introduced the ability to sit on couches and stuff, they kind of messed it up this way. You can't go back to sitting. You're only sitting at the beginning. But, like, yeah, your mom is mum with a U because it's British English, but it's not really because it's still an American translation, right? It's not like I don't think they really like localized it for Britain or America. They just decided to do it this way. But we have the sort of standard thing that's happened for a while. This is the first game, I think, maybe, well, Gen 7 had a little bit of it too, where the houses have the correct amount of rooms in them. Like, you know, you can sit here and go, oh, there's a living room, there's a door here for somebody else's room, probably your mom's room, or maybe an upstairs area. You have your own room, and then there's a kitchen. Like, this is a house with enough rooms for 2 people. Like, it's not separate. It's the Switch. Buying a TV so you can use the Switch is kind of crazy, because TV's Oh. I guess I forgot that's like a throwaway line. There's a lot of throwaway lines here. I do like the hat, actually, for the male protagonist. The male protagonist usually gets, like, crappy outfits. Like, the outfits are boring. It's just the hat that's interesting. But we can press this, and we get a new UI, along with the expansion pass in the corner. But this is pretty similar to the other UIs. It's not really anything crazy here. We have some new sort of, casual controls. Play with one hand with the one Joy-Con. A lot of this stuff is pretty regular. It hasn't changed in forever, really. But we also get the town map, so we can see the map right at the beginning of the game. You can't zoom out, which is curious, but you can see pretty much everything right when you start. And you see that we get kind of like we get a bunch of different areas. We're not going to go through them, but they're all vaguely British names, right? This is, what's this one? Again, mine, what's Holbury, Turfield. I mean, the one you start one is Postwick, Hammerlock, Spikemuth. Like, it's all very sort of British. I think Chichester is an actual British town that I've heard of. I mean, this one's the only weird one. Balloon Ela. It's a little strange. Wyden, right? Like, it's all very. But the style of the map is very. It's very unique. They haven't. It's very stylistic, right? None of this. This is not a real, like, map. It is, but. And it gives you all the relevant information, but it's very stylized. I mean, you can tell that this is the probably the fairy type, and this is like a snow type thing, right? Which is pretty interesting. Oh, we also have the weather. We can see all the weather ones. And we also have these big green areas, which are, of course, new. It's the sort of wild area switching thing, the sort of open area that you can run around to switch around from the routes. That's a new change. We'll probably get to that. So we'll just move on. We also have the bag, which is pretty similar to the last one. But you start with the fishing rod, which is cool. And, of course, we have the adventure guide, which is kind of a thing that's been floating around a bunch of different spin-offs for a while. I remember Pokemon Rangers Shadows of Amia has something like it, where it's just a big list of all the tips in the game. There's sort of stuff similar, but there's been stuff similar to that since Gen 4. But now we can leave. And for the next map 2, they don't really go back to the stylized sort of thing. It's kind of a mesh of the sort of newer, Gen 6-ish map, where it's like, okay, yeah, it's kind of Gen 5 and Gen 6, where it's kind of like, it's not blocky the way it was the old maps, but it's also not sort of like too realistic the way that Gen 7s and Gen 6, Gen 5 and Gen 6s kind of was, where it's like, oh, you can also do that if you spin around. You do it. Yep, cool. But, yep, okay. Alright, we also get one of the best Pokemon that they created, especially for this gen, Wooloo. And of course they call it a Weald. Hop's gonna race you. Hop is a pretty good rival. Although he is much more of like a... The rivals go back and forth in terms of like antagonistic and friendly. He's definitely a friendly rival, but this game has a... It's actually really good because it has Hop, which is a pure friendly rival, a super antagonistic rival, and then one that's like in between that doesn't really talk to you. That's very funny. What's this? Yeah. What is in this garage? Is it just a shed? It's probably just a shed. They avoided that. They had a lot more fun doing like random stuff in this one, it feels. Gen 7 was like that too, where there's just a bunch of extra like items around that make the whole game environment just more interesting looking. They kind of did a little bit of that with Gen 6. Hop is kind of a non-antagonistic version of Barry from Gen 4. He's very like get up and go kind of type. Barbecue, yay! But yes, here we have the same deal, right? So we have a kitchen, we have a living room, and then we have an upstairs. Oh, we have a sort of, maybe a closet, but an upstairs, like, room here, and then there was a doorway back the other way. So, you know, kind of like the correct size of... the houses have the correct amount of rooms. Which is nice. That's something that you always like to see. Although, I will say, there might be a room over here, but I think that goes outdoors. Which means that there has to be another, like 2 bedrooms back here, because the grandparents are here as well. They presumably live here. Although maybe they're just hanging out. We don't know. There's only 3 pairs of boots at the thing, so... You can also kind of like walk automatically because of the switches, like, oh, just tap it slowly to walk and then go faster to run. I am still kind of annoyed you don't get a free camera here. But you do get a Route 1, which is interesting because it's 2 routes, right? So there's the literally just straightway route, and then the side route that has tall grass and stuff. This game really does kind of acknowledge that, like, at the beginning of the game, you don't always want to go through the grass at all. Which is nice, because definitely some of the older ones, they're kind of like, oh yeah, you're fine with going through 4 patches of tall grass before you can heal your Pokemon, right? Like, you know, that's just going to be okay for you, right? Like, yeah, so he's the champion, and he's the the brother of your rival, which is an interesting kind of like mechanic. They kind of thought about it a little bit and figured out something that was interesting. It does kind of make it awkward though when like you beat everybody, because that's how the game always ends, right? You beat everybody because you're playing the game and you're the protagonist, so you beat everybody. Especially with this one, a lot of the characters are like, it feels like maybe somebody else should win. Like that would be more interesting than just you. You're just random guy, basically. I mean, like, you're not random, you're a character in the game, but like compared to a lot of the other ones, you're kind of just a random guy, right? Like having Hop get to Leon and beat him, having any of the other rivals get, like, by adding more rivals, they've made more people that like compete with you in the audience's mind, right? So it makes it harder to justify you winning at the end. I mean, it's not that hard, right? Because, you know, you're the player character. You're you, so you're still like, of course I'm going to win in the end. But it's still kind of like, from a story perspective, a bit lame. You know, it's kind of... Oh, it would be interesting if somebody else got to be champion instead of, you know, the main character, the player character. Because the player character inherently doesn't have any character, right? Especially for these games that are, you know, not... They're marketed at younger people, younger children. So the player characters are not particularly like... They're not going to put any character in the player character because you're supposed to, you know... they're supposed to reflect you, so... Grookey. I like Grookey. Oh, he's dead. We can really take anybody, though, because the problems I have with Sobble and Score Bunny are mostly due to their final evolutions, not their first one or two. I might go for Score Bunny, I'm thinking. I think we're going to go for Score Bunny. Because Score Bunny kind of looks like the original designs for the Inklings in Splatoon. So we might go Score Bunny. So these two, the problem is they just end up as like guys. Like they're just, he ends up as a sort of thin sniper guy, and it ends up as a soccer player. But like just a thin soccer, like the Grookey ends up as like a drum monkey thing. That's really interesting. These guys are kind of lame for their final evolutions, but for their first ones and second ones even, you know, they're fine. So we'll take Score Bunny. Nope. I mean, the other thing here is and Hop chooses the one that you're effective against, even though he's, you know, kind of like, they kind of do this thing where they're like, Hop is super into the Pokemon stuff because his brother is the champion, but also he's not good at it because because he's not antagonistic and your character is pretty consistently better than him. So you're like... Oh, but that is the other thing. Leon does end up using the last one. Whichever one is last. He'll use it in the final battle and stuff. Which is nice. They kind of always had that idea floating around. I think they've implemented it in some versions, but... This game, they really do a lot with the cutscenes in a way that none of the other ones have. Mostly because the Switch is now a home console as well as a handheld. So anything in here looks as good, can be in-game, but look as good as a out-of-game cutscene from, 5-10 years ago. Right. Right, and I mean, like, you don't need a cutscene to be higher quality than this one, really. I mean, you can the work to put in for a better cutscene is no longer in the quality of the footage at this point. It's in the what if you say no? Sure. It's in the amount of animations and like voice acting and the writing as always, but you know, the amount of animation, the camera angles, stuff like that, right? And that all of that stuff is like game fund stuff, right? If you spend more money on the game, you can get more animations for the in-game cutscenes. You can get voice acting for every character and for all the sort of in-game cutscenes. So, you know, this one, same thing happened with Splatoon 3, where the story mode for that one finally had cutscenes in it. Oh, we also get the new UI. I should check that out. It's pretty similar to the old. Well, no, it is pretty different than the last bit of UI, right? Now we have an interesting sort of camera angle that'll shift around. We get an info button that we can click on anybody. We can get like the ability of our guy. We have the fight. We'll have the moves in the side here. Pokemon, which will give us this thing with Pokemon guys. The bag, which just opens the normal bag pouch, and then run, which we can't do. Like, the story mode for Splatoon 3 feels a lot more cinematic because they have a handful of, like, in-game cutscenes that actually are cutscenes, like, that they've just spent more money to get more animations and more, well, it's not voice. Well, it is kind of voice acting, but, like, more animations and more... Oh, level up. Oh, right. I forgot. All of your guys learn your whatchamacallit at level 6. So you beat the Wooloo, get it up, and immediately get the move that'll win. You know, Ember. Because it's a grass type. So now I'm going to win for free. And if you do that, you know, he's like, oh, you already know what you're doing. That's crazy. You already know that fire is good against grass? Hop, you also knew that. You could have chosen the water type that is good against the fire type before this battle, but you did not. But at the same time, he also has like 2 Pokemon and you only have 1. You know, maybe you're a bit older than Hop. Now that I'm reading this dialogue, he's telling you about the Pokédex. Maybe, like... I wonder if you can do different moves. Probably not. Oh, right, this is what happens. And then you go into the woods. Go save the Wooloo, now that we have a Pokemon. I don't know. Does he follow you? What happens if you go talk to your mom? Okay, never mind. You can't. He accosts you and tells you to go into the woods. Which is really funny because you go in at the beginning of the game and you go in at the end of the game. And that's it. I mean, you can hang around in the end of the game afterwards because you've beaten the game, but... The fog. The fog. Okay, obviously, you know, first step into tall grass, we get attacked by a squirrel. Yeah, pretty expected. I get attacked by squirrels whenever I walk in grass. But yes, now we have high quality 3D models, and a lot of the Pokemon now have like idle animations that are interesting, like Scorbunny's jumping up and down, Squovit's kind of breathing, I guess. Oh, but we also have, like, you can sneak through the grass, and I think it makes you less likely to run into Pokemon or something. Oh, right, and this is not hard because Hop will just heal you whenever you encounter him, which is every once in a while. You can still get attacked by things. This time you get attacked by a bird. That makes more sense. A little bit. Your team is too nervous to eat berries. What a great move. What a great ability. In any case, Rookidee doesn't have the steel type yet, so it's not just losing here, but it is because it's level 2, not because of types. The other thing here, which we haven't seen yet because we don't have any other Pokemon, but the XP share thing has stuck around. So we just get all of the XP just gets sort of divided, not quite evenly among all of the Pokemon in your party. Yeah, every time you talk to Hop, he just heals your guys, so... Maybe you can still run in, even if you... are sneaking around. There's kind of an open world-esque thing area later on. Oh, you also get the effective or super effective thing when you sort of find out the type of the guy. Oh, I should move myself so that you can see the opponents. Where do we want me? I guess over there? Over there might be good. Yeah, it's not... There's nothing up there that's being covered. I think it's gonna die to its burn. Oh, nope. They no longer tell you how much... Oh, maybe they do. Maybe they do tell you how much HP your opponent has if it's not status effective. I will say, one of the things about this game that the other games don't have... oh, we have the Pokemon tab we can check out. It's basically sort of... Well, they've moved it to the left, but this kind of stuff is all pretty much the same. You know, ribbons, whatever. Stats, Dynamax level. You know, it's just now kind of a little bit different UI. Let's just... Yep, okay. Oh, I was gonna check the map. This game is really quite linear, which you can see if you look at the map. Right, we're down here. We started here. Oh, there's a little bit over here, but we go up here, and this is just straight all the way up here. Then, you know, we can take this train to go here. Maybe over there, I guess. Here or all the way up. I guess the train goes all the way up to Hammerlock. But in any case, right, we go here, this whole area is here, and then we go past it to go to one of two paths, and a third one up this way to get to here, and then we get a little bit over here and a little bit over there, but mostly we just go up here and here, right? It's kind of just a big line, right? It's not like a... There's not a lot of alternate paths. It's just mostly, oh, here's a circle that you can go around in. You can go left or right, and they end up at the same spot. Also, the fog is getting thicker. I'm sure it's fine. The fog. The fog. There's a dog in the fog. It's creepy. It's a creepy dog. Now you fight it. Maybe. Who knows? Is this a doubles battle? No. Tackle. Fuck. It's a ghost. The move had no effect. It's a ghost. Run it back. Whoa. I mean, this is kind of a good bit, right? In terms of like the original game's ghost thing that they did, right? I do like that the fog effect is even affecting your UI elements, though. It's pretty good. Pretty good bit. Let's use growl, because why not? Nope. Right, that the oh, now we can't see anything. Wonder what happens if you try to run. Well, you can see Score Bunny's still kind of there, but whoa! The Lavender Town Tower. What did he do to us? He threw us out? Wallace. It's that one. We saved it. Yeah, at the end of the game you get to come back here and start the post-game thing. It's actually interesting. This game has a decent post-game story. Like, I mean, other than the fact that they introduced 2 random villains at the end, it has a decent, like, oh, yeah, you do a handful of things now that you're the champion in charge. Not in charge, but like you're the champion. All right. And we're off to look at the Wooloo. The fact that you don't have a free roam camera is very, it's the power of science is amazing, guy. So a mystery gift. We can now connect to the internet. We're not going to do that. Mostly because this account isn't hooked up to any, anything. I think, yep, this is actually smart. Yeah, right, you can go all the way down, but, do we have any Pokeballs? I don't think we do, so we want to avoid guys. Oh no, we have 5. Okay, so we can catch some of these. They do the thing that's been kind of a Gen 6 thing that originally was Gen 6 and finally got ported in the last game, where the Pokemon kind of fly around and you can avoid them. Some of them. But in any case, we can catch this guy. Rickety. Critical. Peck. Ouch. Yeah, it doesn't tell you the exact health of the opponent's Pokemon. We also get a little X button to just immediately catch throw a Pokeball. They got rid of the like throw the Pokeball, which kind of does make sense. I remember when I was doing it, it's kind of hard to do consistently, right? Like, I mean, I was still pretty decent at it. I think I got mostly great. Whoops. No. But it was still hard to get like consistently. Oh, that's the other thing. If you're running quickly, and you get one of those little pop-ups, you can avoid it like that, and then you won't get attacked by wild Pokemon. So tall grass is now like not a big deal, almost. I mean, you know, you still can run into guys, but it's the Pokemon Rangers thing where like you can just avoid most of the enemies if you know what you're doing. Oh, that did not do a lot. Well, the good thing here is when we catch this guy, he's going to be very useful. Oh, critical. He's going to lower defense or something. Yeah. Alright, one more time. If we get a crit here, this is actually... Yeah. Ooh, burned. Not great. But I don't think we'll have any problems catching this guy. But yeah, you know, talking about gameplay-wise, it's the same. They weren't going to change it. They didn't change it. Why would they change it? They're not going to change it. They're just going to add the, you know, Gigantamaxing gimmick thing and then run with it for one generation. Oh, yeah, so everyone gets XP points, so everyone can level up. Although I think the guy at front gets more. Oh, nope. I keep accidentally hitting yes, because I'm just going through. 2 paralyze heals. That's something. Alright, let's grab one of these Wooloos. I like Wooloo. It's cool. It's not a particularly good Pokemon, but it's a sheep. What? Alright. Ouch. You can also totally just throw your starter in front of everyone and, like, your other guys still get XP points, you know. It's not, you don't get, like, super over-leveled starter and nothing else. Which is good. It's a good design choice, but, you know, it's not a new one, right? Ah! Stop that. Alright, we did it. And we're in Wedgehurst. The ultimate Charizard, because Charizard's in everything. What's in here? This is the train station. We're gonna go in here, and we're gonna go to the Pokemart, because the Pokemart's in the train station now. But we can buy... We also start with a lot of money, but that's because the clothing items in this game, because you get a lot of cosmetic items, are very expensive. They kind of fixed the, like, oh, at some point in the game you just have as much money as you're ever gonna really use, and then you don't really use a lot of it, right? Because, you know, you're not gonna buy a bunch of potions because you don't need the potions because you're good at the game. 10,000, sure, whatever. We'll buy lives. Let's see. They fixed that by adding a bunch of cosmetic items that are ridiculously overpriced in terms of, like, the game. Oh, wild area. Yeah, the train is delayed due to a railcar inspection, aka the game. You can't do it yet, so don't try to champions here. Wooloo. This guy. Nope, I want to talk to the guy. Oh! The sign was gone. So this guy is the sign guy. He's telling you what was on the sign. It's a good bit. Yeah, like this is a house with one person, and it has a kitchen, a living room, and a door that we can't go in because it's their bedroom. And here's Leon. Charizard kind of awkwardly steps into frame there. The design for the Pokemon Lab here is really cool, though. I really enjoy both the interior and the exterior. And of course, they name her after the magnolia tree. And here we have Sonia. Yay! Yeah, that's what her name is. Who ends up being kind of the more main character. They really kill it with the character designs in this one. Just wholesale. Pretty much all of the gym leaders are peak character design. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they were always really good at it, but this one, yeah, they knew what they were doing. Sure. You also, everything's the Rotom phone now, which it's been since last game, but, you know, we now have access to the Pokédex, and we get to see that it now it looks pretty much the same as it did last gen. It's a little bit more traditional, maybe, but it's mostly sort of the same, right? Like we get to see Grookey. Where is Grookey? Habitat unknown, because it's a starter. Which is always really funny to me, like conceptually, right? Like, you're like, oh yeah, we're gonna give some Pokemon to some kids. How about the 3 rarest Pokemon in the game, right? Like, you literally can't get them unless you trade for them with other people. Oh, we also get the Dynamax thing. Kind of gives us which is just a little bit of like research about that or something. It's not super specific, but oh, this guy's gonna bug you. He gives you a potion. He's just like, here. How nice. That guy's kind of crazy. Yep. This guy's gonna tell us the sign. I think the sign might get fixed at some point. Alright, here we have the Pokemon Center. The outside is actually a very cool design because they've shifted a lot from the designs of the Pokemon Centers sort of over time. We didn't really, of course not. But they've basically taken the sort of 3-tiered structure and kept it. So this guy sells, he's the nickname raider. None of them, because I don't have any nicknames. We have the remember move, forget a move, which, you know, in other games existed. It was just different. We have the box, which is the same as it was for a while. We can change the wallpaper to something a little bit more funky. Most of these wallpapers are actually pretty lame, but they're kind of like traditional normal computer wallpapers, where the other ones were like really kind of interesting from an art perspective. We have some selection modes and change box view to teams, held items, whatever. It's all pretty the same, although the rotom on top of the thing, or rotom on top of the thing is different. And we have the standard middle of the road kind of thing here. And then over here's the Pokemon. Yay! It's weird that there's two actually in this town. But the sort of from the last game, they kept the section off to the side, Pokemart and Pokemon Center in the middle, as always. Sure. What is this? I think this is a random thing. Okay, we're not gonna do that. That's probably... Oh, that might be like trainer ID thing. One of those lottery things that they've run. Oh, you can buy berries. That's cool. I don't need to do that. Ah, and here we have the clothing place, which every town has. It's kind of funny. Like, they went from, oh, we're going to have the Pokemart and the Pokemon Center, and then we're going to combine them so we don't have to make two locations in each town. And then they just ended up with another location anyway for clothing. But here so you can see all of the clothing, right? This is the cheapest clothing, and it's at least 1,000 of your money. And then this stuff is even more expensive, and that one is 30,000, which is the amount of money you start with. So, yeah. Some of them are a little bit less expensive, but... And then the hoodies are all at least 2,000. The pants are similar. The socks are all kind of cheap, in the sense that they're only 400, and the leggings are at least 1,000. You've got shoes, which are all like 7,000. Your bag is all 2,000. Cap, 1,500, and the different types of knit caps are like 5,000, which is crazy. I do like that they have different brands though, and the different areas, different towns have different brands, basically, different stuff. The gloves are all 1,000, and the glasses are all 3,000. So you go through the game, and then you get more, kind of access to more, but here we have really solved the money problem, because now you can easily dump 30,000 of the money to one shirt. So, yeah. And you can also use the changing room and like try out outfits, which we have a couple of different outfits if we wanted to, but we'll keep the 3/4 sleeves polo here. And I actually really like the designer denim one. And I do like the high socks, boots. Most of the stuff you don't really have. Remove glasses. And you can wear gloves if you want. But I don't want to. So. But as you go through the game, you'll get access to new clothing shops, and then you'll be able to buy more clothes. It's purely cosmetic. It doesn't change anything, so sure, yes. Oh, right. There's the lab, and then the professor mostly just, like, stays at her house, which is kind of funny. She works from home. They also kind of pretend that like Leon and Sonia don't like each other anymore when they're still like friends. They're just not. They were rivals, and then oh yeah, you can see the thing in the background. We'll get there. So yeah, they kind of pretend that they're like fighting when they're not really. They're just like kind of an I don't know what's the word. And now we get more Pokeballs to grab stuff. Alright. Yay. That's great. Oh. Here we get... we have the Fox guy. What is this? Nickit, yes, who ends up evolving into like a sort of like dusting thing. It's supposed to be a vacuum, which is very weird, actually. It's a very strange Pokemon. Telling the truth. But we will catch it and put it on our team because I think it's Dark type, and that's pretty good. It might just be normal, but I think it's Dark type. Oh, we can also hit the info button to get... Oh, right. So now you can see how many ticks you're down or up for anything, which is pretty nice. I mean, it's not too hard to keep track of, right? But the fact that you don't have to keep track of it anymore is pretty good. All the guys get XP points. And we get the Pokédex entry. Yeah, it's Dark type. No. Oh, we also get the Dark type Zigzagoon, which is cool. We already have a Dark type guy, so I'm not that interested in grabbing it, but we'll grab the, what's it? Chewtle. Who's like water ground and a pretty good pick. Pretty good guy. I think although I will not lie, this might not be the best. Scorbunny is kind of a bad up here. Pretty bad, actually. Ouch. Super effective. Might be okay. Especially if he doesn't use water gun that much. Ooh. Okay, we're gonna throw up a ball here. I think we're gonna take it. Yippee! Bunch of my guys went up. Yep, pretty standard. Joodle. Ah, one of the other things that's not immediately obvious that they changed here, not every Pokemon in existence is in the game anymore. So, all the way up to Gen 7, you could have every Pokemon ever from Gen 1 onward in the game. This one, they have a bunch of Pokemon that are just, a lot of them are just not in the game anymore. They're not catchable, you can't transfer them in anymore, and all that stuff. It's probably a good idea because it allows them to mess with the meta a little bit, and doesn't make it so like they have to put everything in. But people were annoyed about it, and it's kind of, the main thing is that it ended up being worse than it was, right? Like, because they ended up doing the Pokemon Home stuff and basically charging people to have hold Pokemon. Oh, it's not gonna tell us anything. It's just gonna. So whenever you get too close to these people, it'll now like sort of give you a thing. So you no longer get got anymore. But you still have to fight them depending on where they are. But you no longer really get surprised when you get hit by a trainer, because you get the little thing and the screen all goes, oh look, there's a guy. Ouch. Now we have a full party of 6, which is nice, and I'm no longer worried about losing pretty much at all. Especially since most of my guys are like level 6, level 7 anyway, so... And just like Pokemon Rangers, some of the Pokemon run away, some of them will chase you, and some of them won't care when they see you. We also have these ledges, which still exist. The good old classic ledge. Oh look, another ledge. Ah, the good old ledge. As well as the good old, do you want to fight a trainer, or do you want to go in the grass? We're going to go in the grass. Of course, you still have to fight, you know, like this guy. You can't get around him, you know. Lip bug. This guy is a bug type, so he's just gonna lose here. Yeah. Sorry, kid. Alright, Nick it. It's a dark type. I got a lot of dark type moves, but we'll send out, I don't know, Wooloo. I like Wooloo. I'm not that worried about it. Oh no, it has quick attack. I think Wooloo has like high defense stats. So. A lot of the music in this game is really like hype. I don't know if it's always apt. Like in this situation, I'm just fighting some random kid. So, I mean later on, right, when we're at the end of the game, yeah. But now I don't really see the point in going. Oh yeah, this is a real hype up battle. But yeah. And I win. In any case, we have this sort of thing here. And later in the game, you get access to the water, you know, swimming around, and then you can come back here and run around a bit. I don't think you really get access to any land sections, extra land, but you do get more water. And we get the... Oh, yeah, it's kind of like, it's... Sonia's like, oh, I don't know if I want to be a research professor, but I don't want to be a trainer. Well, it's basically she's just, you know, she doesn't want to know what she wants to do, whatever. If I remember correctly, I think that's the character arc here. But the fact that she even has like a character arc as a side character is pretty interesting. But they kind of like insinuate that Magnolia is like, you know, if you're pretending that people have their own thing, like Leon's own journey is like Magnolia kind of thing. And they have kind of that going on where they're like, oh, you know, the other characters in the game that are Pokemon people also go on journeys, and they did it in the past, and but this is what's her name's room. You can see her hat as well as the Yamper sticker. Sonia's room, and we have a Yamp. Be sure to give it everything you've got. Yeah. Oh, and now it's nighttime. They also have a little bit of a time thing going on here, where like time does like move in game a little bit. They don't do, at least I'm pretty sure, they don't do the old Gen 2 thing of the whole game just occurs whenever it occurs in real life. But they do some amount of like, I think it's mostly just in the beginning, because they do this like, oh, you do a day of going out, and then at the end of the day it's dark. Oh yeah, you're supposed to paddle. Okay. I hope I'm not running this in with no healed Pokemon. I think I'd still win, because he's probably only got like 3, but you know. Leon is very like player character coded. He literally never loses until the end of this game where you beat him. But like, you know, I'm healed up, right? It never. Yeah, okay, I am. All right, we're good. We're good. All right, we'll just burn through this guy's here really quick. Ouch. Run it back. Oh no. The fact that they have like actual spectators is pretty interesting though. They kind of did that Gen 7 too though. I think they had some, I mean they had people standing on the side. I can't remember if they had specific characters who stood on the side or not. Yeah, but now you get a lot of people who level up at once. Rookie. No, I will keep the fire guy. She should really deal with that tree that's on her house. That's gonna be a problem. You're gonna get all sorts of water leakage, all sorts of stuff. You know type matchups. That's crazy. You can kind of tell, and I think they did this intentionally. I think this game was kind of intended as like a super soft reboot in the sense of like they expected people who had not played any of the other games before, who like got a Switch and got it and like probably didn't have any of the other consoles to get into it, buy this game and like it. That's Rookity. Also, they say stuff to you. Oh no, we can't eat berries. And, well, from what I can tell, at least based on the sales figures, Sword and Shield is like top 3 or 4, top, I want to say it's 4th in the rankings for like numbers sold. So, you know, I mean, the top one is Gen 1. It actually might be second. Sword and Shield might be second. I'd have to double check, but I think Sword and Shield might be second most sold Pokemon games ever. So the fact that they kind of made this a little bit more, like, not simpler, but like expecting you not to know anything, is probably pretty good. Probably helped them that. Sure, go for it. That's kind of goofy. Yeah, this is the whatchamacallit. This is kind of a repeat of that stuff from Gen 6 or 7 with the, like, oh, you get a little thing and then you have to give it to the guy. You know, they fall out of the sky, but they're also only in this region. How curious. That's very weird. It's actually just weird. Like, yay, and we get food. Now the adventure truly starts, about an hour into the game, you know. Oh, yep, and you get the Dynamax band. Yeah, they really do front roll the Dynamax stuff. Is this another race? Uneasy feeling. I've got a bad feeling about this. Anyway, it's not a real race. Oh, right. Oh, yeah, I forgot. If you whistle, you can get the Pokemon to come attack you. Just like in, yep, that's the whistle. And they'll come attack you. They sure will. Alright, let's fight this girl. So we need like a, actually we kind of do need a grass type to cover this. Cucumber is not very effective. They do kind of do the Dynamax stuff, but I don't remember if they do it early. They give you the bands early, but I don't think you can actually do it until you get to your first, like, gym fight, which is still in a little while. It might be closer than I'm thinking, because it might be at, like, the first town. Oh, there's a Yamper we could grab, I guess. Oh, we also have the Versus, which is more online stuff. Where is the map? Well, we have to meet up at the meetup spot, and then we have to walk through the green area, the wild area. We have to get the Motostoke. It might be, I think it's in a little while, actually. The first. But the game does like highly encourage you. You know, you see one, just go up and grab it. It's not as easy as like Pokemon Legends Arceus or the last one. Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, but it is still a lot better than like the way it used to be. So, you know, we'll just run this back for a little bit. I mean, the game still has the age-old problem of being a turn-based game, and thus I'm just gonna use Ember over and over again until something changes. Right, you're just gonna hit the same button 3 or 4 times in a row. Right. The strategy is only for like the really high level stuff. We will get to find out what happens when we send somebody to the box, though, which is cool. And you get XP points for catching Pokemon, but that's pretty. Double kick, fighting type move, dump growl. Growl is not very good. Yep. Yemper. No. Ah, okay, yeah, so add to your party. So we have to select one to swap, which we're going to get rid of Squobit. Oh, yeah, you also get like they'll tell you we have a communications and we can tell people that we're playing the game. But now it's really easy to just run through the tall grass with no trouble, which is nice. We like to see that. Oh, and we also get the little shines in the world that tell us that there's stuff on the ground. Yep, and they're giving us hints, as you do. Pretty classic. I think once we get to the train station, we get to go right away, I think. But we're going to go over here, and we're going to heal up our guys, just to be sure. Oh, yeah, I forgot it was like he wanted a competition to shoot Pokemon, or to catch Pokemon. It's not really that relevant. I think you get a different TM there if you lose or you beat him. Yep. You also get the camping kit, which is the replacement for the thing that they added, which a while ago, the sort of like Pokemon minigame thing, where like you can play with your Pokemon. So the camping gear is kind of the replacement for that, and it gives you kind of different sort of stat boosting stuff. But fundamentally, it's kind of the same. It's a little bit different, but it is kind of the same concept, where all your Pokemon are in the thing. Oh yes, the wild area is kind of the open free roam area with Pokemon wandering around. Basically, the kind of like big uh, like long routes kind of thing. If you remember some of the high level routes from gens like 3 and 4, that's kind of what the sure. I mean, I would be annoyed if I had to get off my train early. Oh, yeah. This is the, So if you have Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu or Let's Go Eevee, you get a free Pikachu and or Eevee. No. 2 a box. And I guess there's probably a Dynamax thing. But there's also, I think, maybe... This is also the one you go off of to get to the DLC area. Oh, and here we have the big map. Big cinematic map. Yippee! But we're actually going to go back and talk to that lady in there, because... Oh, yeah. The Pokédoll is the runaway item. Yeah, like, the Pokémarts are also in the whatchamacallit? Like, the train stations, so... the camera will do some interesting things if you go areas they don't want you to go in. No. Ah, but here we have... full roam camera. I mean, it's got like a height limit. It doesn't move up and down very much, but it will go all 365 degrees around you, which is cool. Yeah, it's actually very like steampunk. The design of some of the towns is very weird because it's like modern but not really. Oh yeah, that's I think Sonia's supposed to like fill in for the people who are not new to Pokemon. I think that's kind of like the thing. Which is why she kind of has a character arc. Although, you know, the same thing with, like, Leon, I guess. Oh, you can also access the Pokemon box anywhere now, which is, like, a thing that they've been moving towards for a while. So it's not really surprising. The little red lines going everywhere are, like, the Mega Raids or whatever, so they're sort of, online big battles. But now we get to go here and we can see that there's tons of stuff on the ground and things like Onyx running around and, you know, that guy and all sorts of stuff. And this... Oh, no. And like a tree. Yeah, let's shake the tree. Is a Pokemon gonna fall out? Nope, just some berries. Oh, right. If you keep shaking it, eventually a Pokemon will fall out. Actually, the trees are pretty funny because they're basically gambling, right? If you shake it too much, you'll lose items. So you want to shake it. Yeah, so this Pokemon den's Dynamax Pokemon, and then you can investigate the den and yeah, fight the guy. But for now, we'll just like walk around here. We'll do the camp thing because it's nice to check out. But you can see, like, you just want to walk up or go the other way, and then go to Motostoke. But we'll do Pokemon Camp. which you can do kind of anywhere. You don't have to do a wild area. But when you do it, it's, yeah, you can. So, you can call, like, Wooloo over here. Over here, he's gonna run into us. And, Wooloo will give you, will have sort of stuff. And we can take out a toy, and we can shake the thing, and the Wooloo will make a face, and he'll attack it. Ooh, how nice! And we can also change the ball to the ball. We can throw the ball, and somebody will grab it. I think they'll play with it. Maybe. Basically what they're supposed to do, but they all kind of run around, right? So this is very cool, but also kind of pointless. So, you know, pretty classic Pokemon here. We can also do cooking. Take down the tent just means finish. Cooking is the real kind of gameplay thing going here. It's basically, it's a mini game. We have some ingredients. Whoops. I wanted to hit the start cooking button. Ingredients are like a specific item for this. 3. Confirm. Ready. Okay. So, we put all the stuff in the pot. Oh. Right. Okay, there we... I think you're just supposed to do it as fast as possible. It's giving me the right stick, but it's working with the left one. So we're gonna keep going with the left one here. This is not going to be very good curry. I'm not doing these minigames particularly well. I think I missed with that heart one. So I don't think this curry is going to be a particularly high-starred curry or whatever, but it gives this cool cinematic. It's just normal curry. We're gonna eat it, and we like it. Yay! It's not bad. I don't think they ever actually dislike it. I think, but yeah, okay. It's, like silver, it's 2 stars. But it increases your Pokemon's friendship and some of their stats, I think. I don't know the exact deal with it in terms of like gameplay, but it gives everybody XP and like people play with you, and yeah, it's kind of, you know, a cool little thing you can do. And of course you can tell your friends that you did that. And you can buy ingredients. They're all pretty cheap. And there's like a whole like curry decks to make all sorts of different stuff. You can put bones in it, salad, potatoes. And they all do sort of different things, and I think they improve different stats, and yeah. The sort of things you expect from a cooking gameplay thing. It is something I really do enjoy. Oh, if you... Huh, that's cool. And the fact that they kind of got rid of it for Pokemon Legends Arceus, and I don't think there's really anything like it in Scarlet and Violet, although I could be misremembering. There might be something in there that's sort of a similar deal. It's pretty... yeah, dynamic Pokemon. Quit. So there's a bunch of Pokemon we could catch here, but I'm not going to catch any of them because I don't care. And I'm just running through to get to the gym, which we will fight and then be done, I think. Depends on the timing. I want to finish it around probably like 2 hours. Yeah. The watts are like a wild area currency thing where the guys, like these guys, I think will give you stuff for your watts. Yeah. Yeah, so like I've only got one type of curry, so... But he gives you sausages for curry. Oh, and you can also change your tent color, I guess. And this guy will give you, you know, Heal Ball, Wishing Piece, some of the TMs, or TRs. They're TRs now. They're records, which is funny. They're no longer machines. They're literally like records, which is funny. It's a good shift, I think. They've basically switched everything to permanent multi-use stuff. No more sort of like TM versus HM thing. They're all, the TMs are the ones that you can use forever, and the TRs are the ones that break after using them once. And the TRs are like not super relevant. Yeah, but the design of this town is very steampunk. Considering that it's supposed to be kind of like... Pokemon is, for the most part, pretty modern. Like, the closest you get is some sort of, like, Apple Store-esque company building that looks very futuristic, but in practice is actually just normal. Like, it just looks futuristic kind of thing. It just looks all chrome. It's not actually some new tech. It's not really future tech, it just looks that way. Something okay. You know, have two guys. Yeah, rodent information. Yes, here we get our little trainer card. You may have noticed that we didn't have that before. Now we make our own, which is pretty cool. So if we go to here, we get to the League card. And we get the base one that we just get automatically. So this is what it looks like. And we have the flip card, and it'll tell us we're registered on, you know, etc., etc. We also have the card code. No, we're not going to connect the internet, which allows you to connect with people. You also have cards from all the other characters. So we can see Leon's League card, and we can flip it over, and we get a little bio about them. This is very cool, because it adds a lot of character to a lot of the characters. And there's actually two. You get one in the main game, and then you get one after you've finished it. For every character, I think. Almost every character. So that's pretty cool. We're not really going to customize it, but it is interesting to look at it. So, like, update current league card. Never mind. Make new league, like, so you can change the background. You can change the effect to give it, like, a yep. You can change the frame to do yep. And you get more throughout the thing. You can move yourself around. You can change your expression. This is all pretty, like, standard stuff. You can change your pose, so you can look like that. You can look like that. You can walk around. You can be funky. And then you can get different types of coding. But we're not going to actually do any of that because it's basically a waste of time. The more interesting thing here is this, the Pokejobs, which the game doesn't tell you about until you get here. You can just send your guys, your extra guys, your box Pokemon to these jobs and they will go for a certain amount of time, so like whole day, so that means they're not going to be back until literally 24 hours in real time, and when they come back they'll have more XP, and I think you get money. It's a very much like idle game thing, which is very weird because there's nothing else in this game that really is like that. I mean, I guess the clothing is kind of like, oh yeah, you kind of need to grind to get enough money for the clothing. But I don't really see, it's kind of a cool, different way of doing like training instead of grinding out. Oh. And then this guy also gives you more stuff at the Pokemart. Pretty standard. The games always give you more stuff as you go to the next town, etc., etc. Sonia's going to show us around. We can't really... Gym challenge. The opening ceremony. We're going to go through that, and then we're going to fight the guy. Actually, I think you need... I don't know if we can fight him right away. We're going to get through it. That's the very Fallout-esque lift. She checks out shops, and then we're free. The shops are mostly like, this is a barber shop. You can change your hair. Or you can change vaguely how your guy looks. It's pretty much not, it's not super... And then this is one of the clothing shops, you know. That's all really expensive, and, you know. And then I think this is the food shop, which is pretty interesting because, yeah, this is the Battle Cafe. So you can fight here, and then if you do, you get an item. It's just interesting because you can do it over and over again. Anyway, we will keep moving on because... Ooh, super potion. Because no reason to mess around here. We can go to the record shop, and we should talk to this guy because this is the high-tech earbuds. So we're gonna look at these because they're a very strange addition, but they are one that does kind of make sense. Oh, I don't remember when you use them, but they let you adjust all of this different types of sounds in the game. It's very curious. Oh, Leon. No, I didn't see any shinies along the way. I mostly kind of zoomed through the wild area. I didn't really, you know... A piece of charcoal. Thanks, Leon. I didn't really hang around to find anything special. Anyway, now we can go up the lift, which moves very quickly. It's probably very dangerous. We also get the best character ever, the ball guy. He's the ball guy. He does the poke, he gives you stuff. He actually, I think he takes the place of the guy who normally gives you advice on all of the thing and kind of tracks your progress in each gym. But that guy's been out, he wasn't in last game either, as far as I can tell, because there's no gyms. here we get a bunch of the... Now this, I really wanted to make sure to get to this. I don't know if you actually get to fight anybody after this, but we get the introduction of the other rivals, as well as some other minor characters. If you couldn't tell, that one's the antagonistic rival. I do like the design of all of the, like, refs, because they're all very much like, guy who does ultimate frisbee on the weekends kind of thing, right? Like, which is really funny. The number doesn't matter, so 0, 0, 0. So here we get kind of the introduction to the main story. So, you know, these guys, most of these characters will kind of stick around. You'll see them later on in the game. Most of them. Some of them you won't. But obviously the ones that are in more clearly not uniformed, like some, you know, some of them drop out pretty early, but there are some that you definitely sort of see throughout the whole thing. But obviously the ones that are in different clothes are your rivals. So this is the antagonistic one, and this is the one that doesn't talk to you. Well, I mean, she does talk to you, but like, she's in between antagonistic and normal, because she's normal, but she has a bunch of fans who are antagonistic, like intentionally, so it's very curious. Which we're going to meet them pretty cool soon, actually. The villains in this game are pretty lame. They kind of tried to do the thing that they did in Gen 7, where they were like, oh, this is the villainous team. And then you're kind of like, well, okay, but they're not like really that. They're kind of just jerks. They're not actually that villainous. Yeah, here we go, Team Yell. They're not actually like that evil or anything. They're kind of just a bunch of random guys. And then at the end they reveal, oh no, there was another villain who were really in charge and was messing around the whole time, and they're the real villains, the big company. Sure, whatever. Yeah, there's kind of like a... I mean, they've always done sort of like background lore stuff with the games, like, oh, thousands of years ago this happened. So this is not really surprising. It's just a little interesting because it's more Arthurian, whereas the rest of them are mostly pretty Japanese. And yeah, this is very like Arthurian legend kind of thing. Oh, yeah, I think you do have to fight them. But yeah, they kind of do the same thing, where they're antagonistic, and they look really, like, mean, but they're actually just aggressive fans with horns. So, they're not really evil at all, they just kind of fight you because they want to. And then at the end of the game, they're like, oh no, it's actually this guy who's really evil. Everyone else is just whatever. Also, we have double kick now, so their dark type guys are going to die. Yep. No shot. Yippee. Easy. I think you have to fight a couple of them right here. They're not difficult. I don't know if you have to fight all 4 of them, or maybe it's 2 of them. But they're all for that other girl who didn't really talk to us, Marnie. She doesn't really like them though, but she's also kind of oblivious and doesn't realize that they're all like not working for her, but they're all like trying to support her. That one wasn't super effective. I thought it was dark type. Oh, it is super effective. Yeah. They're kind of like an interesting concept, but they're not really evil at all. And you can't even really say that they're like Team Skull isn't evil, but they are still criminals, you know. So when you fight them, you don't really like. They still kind of deserve to be beaten and stuff. These guys are just random. Like, yeah, that's her on the towel. Like, for the most part, Team Yell does nothing wrong. Like, they're just aggressive. And being aggressive is not actually, criminal or anything. It's just antagonistic. Like, Team Skull is at least, criminals. And Scarlet and Violet also has this problem with the, Team Star, who are just bullies, I guess? I don't know, it's unclear. I didn't play enough of that game to say for sure that they're not secretly evil, but I don't think they are. I think they're just a bunch of kids. So that's pretty, lame. I kind of do want them to do, for the next game, some guys who are actually, evil. I mean, they don't have to be, evil, killing people and all that stuff. It can just be a little bit more, yeah, she's, yeah, she doesn't really have control over them. They're kind of just a bunch of fans. It's kind of weird though, because she's not super nice to you, but she's also definitely not mean to you, so it's very weird. She's kind of you're a challenger, so I'm gonna keep you at arm's length, but also I'm not gonna punch you or push you away or anything. I'm just, I'm not here to make friends, but I'm also definitely not here to make enemies. Where in contrast, the other guy, Beatty, is very much, I hate you, I'm going to beat you raw. But a lot of this stuff here is kind of just story setup. It's pretty good story setup. Oh, I wanted to talk to Marnie again. Oh, nope, never mind. No. Oh, you don't have to get escorted. You can just go on your own. She also kind of is supposed to have an accent. Kind of I think it's supposed to be sort of Northern English accent. So I'm not gonna try to replicate it, but yeah, there's kind of that going on. Ah, yes, they also have this, which is an interesting sort of cosmetic thing. You have to wear your challenger thing. Later you get alternate outfits for this section, but for now you just have to wear the base kind of lame outfit. We also get the secretary. She's kind of my favorite character design here, even though she doesn't get a ton of screen time compared to any other character. I do like her the best. And they usually don't bring back people, but if they brought her back, that would be cool. What's her name? Olena. Yes, Chairman Rose funds everything and is definitely not the secret evil villain. Because why would that be? Not like they've done basically the same thing with Gen 7, where the big company that did everything was secretly the evil villain. I wonder. Didn't do the walk. They also reveal all of the gym leaders, who are all really good designs. Yep. He's not the most popular design, but he's still... she's the most popular design. And, yeah. People like Kabu. He's pretty cool. Who's up next? People like Bia. Bia's a pretty good design. Opal, people don't talk about, but the design actually slaps here. I think it's good. Same thing with Gordy. You know, people don't really talk about him, and he's a little lame. Raihan's really goofy, but he's pretty distinctive. Oh yeah, they're missing the dark type guy. That's a big story kind of reveal thing. That's also irrelevant, but yeah. And here we have you. 000, you know. And that's it. It's just kind of a cutscene. And Hop's like, that was cool. And you're like, I didn't do anything. Yep. It's actually funny because then even at the end of the game when like he's like kind of evil, he's not really that evil. He's just like, I hate to say misguided, but he just doesn't like know what he ends up kind of like accidentally causing the end of the world instead of fixing the problem he's sought out to fix, kind of thing. I mean, it's very sort of comedic and commentary, but at the end of the day, you're forced to reckon with the fact that he's not actually evil. Like, he's not even that... I mean, he doesn't, like... He never goes, oh, I'm causing the end of the world, I should not do that. But... he's still kind of like, oh, well, I guess if this didn't work out, we'll just keep going. But if you notice here, this is the fire type gym. So you can't access this until later in the game, which is why it takes a while to get to the first gym. You have to go through the mine and all the way up to Turfield, and then you go over to Hulbury, which is the water type one, and then you come back here and do the third one, and then you get on the train and do Hammerlock, which is somebody. And then I think you do Stowonside and Balloonia next. Then you go up to Chichester, and then Spike Move's like one of the last ones you do before you go up to White On and do the last one. It's a Rose thing. So I don't think I'm actually gonna go through the gym thing. It's pretty traditional. You do it, you go, there's kind of like a challenge thing going on. You do it, there's like a little bit of a puzzle, but not really. It's all set in this kind of like pitch thing. But you do it, you beat the gym, and then you move on. It's not very like unexpected or new. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave it here. I think in terms of all the games, I don't think this one is exceptional in the writing, but I think the addition of like higher quality cutscenes and more like emphasis on the animations and story does kind of improve this one a little bit more than most of the other games. Oh, here, we'll do this since I walked into it. And like gameplay wise, it's just as good as any of the other ones. And then they kind of do a good job of sort of limiting what you do, and I think it's well designed and all that stuff. So I think this is definitely deserving of being one of the top selling ones. It's not bad, but I don't think any of them are bad anyway. So it's kind of a little bit higher than the standard, I think, for Pokemon games. Looking back on it, I think it's a little bit higher than the standard. Oh, do I know type matchups? After we finish this, next week I will be finishing this series with the not with Scarlet and Violet, because I already played those back in January when I got them. So you can look up that one if you want to see my thoughts on those. But I'm going to be playing. Oh, he's level 14. Wow, it's pretty high. It's higher than me. But instead, I will be playing the remakes of Diamond and Pearl, which are the most recent remakes, and were not well received. Although they weren't hated, they were just not particularly well received. And they do something interesting with the graphics and animations and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm interested to see what goes on with that. Yamper, Bite, Choodle, Switch. We'll just keep Score Bunny in, actually. Yeah, he's always, like, sends you some messages like, I'm going to win. Oh, double kick's not very effective. Okay. Well, we'll just run Ember. But yeah, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl were kind of like, people still, nobody really hated them, but there was a lot of like, these are not worth the $60 price tag of each game, right? Which is, I mean, you think about the games originally, they came out, they were like $20 to $30 each, right? It was kind of like, oh, there's two of them, so if we price them at half the price of a normal one, we get up to $60 total, right? Oh, we get to go first. That means we win. Oh yes, and then you collect the leaf cards as you go through them. But it's very linear. you do a lot of like a lot of the sort of alternate paths aren't really alternate paths. Like when you get here, you can't actually go up this way and get to Hammerlock yet, I don't think. You can't actually go this way and get to Hulbury early. You have to go this way, and then you have to go this way, and then you have to come down here, and then you can go up to Hammerlock. When you get up here, you can't go over this way. I don't think, at least. So you have to go up to Balloonia, and then you come back and go up this way, and go down this way, and go down. Like, you can't go through here yet. So it's very... The map is a lot more... The map is pretty linear, and it's a lot more linear when you find out how the game goes. Right? But that is going to do it for this Minty Monday. Almost 2 hours, pretty good. Starting off September on a strong note. Once I finish this sort of limited series, I'm not sure. I'm going to have a week or two where I get to play whatever, but we're still continuing with the different game every week thing, so I won't be playing anything long term. I'll be coming up with another series to do with different games each week. So, yep, that's what that'll be.